I'm
You
saying
didn't watch a single snap.
that's
of that
not
game.
what I fucking said.
You just said watching the game.
No, that's
yes,
not
you did.
what I said.
You just
I
said watching the game.
I said no. I'm talking about I said through watching the games, I've seen that when they don't play complimentary football, that is a season-wide thing.
Welcome back to Week 14, our best bets for the NFL this week. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. It's officially Christmas season, holiday season, Hanukkah season for your boys. I'm Jack Settleman, Casey Settleman, the Fish, a.k.a. the Sharp on the show. We got Uppy, the Drunkle, and of course, Timmy Sharps, or as we like to call him, owned by Casey. Tim, how the boys do on Thanksgiving week?
Well, depends on which boys you're talking about because Jack, you laid it with the Bengals, -2.5. You are now 4-8 on the season. If it wasn't for me, the talk would be about you. But I guess that's just how it is. Casey, what happened? The Ravens. Casey laid it with the Ravens. He's now 8-5, still a winning record. Uppy, he had the Rams -2.5.
Interesting framing of still a winning record. Like it's not even it's not like we're teetering.
Well, it's getting close.
I think
8-5 is
you
not
were
really
what, like
close
7-2?
There's only 3 weeks left in the season. I literally can't finish
there's
negative.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 5 weeks, and we said we're doing playoffs.
All right.
Yeah, no,
continue.
that's good stuff. But if I need a roster, you got it. As we were saying, Uppy, he laid it with the Rams in New Orleans. They covered the 2.5 there. I had the Cardinals +3.5. It was close, but I do get the win. 5-8 in our consensus. All-time bad beat. I think our consensus has been just the bad beat hell. Browns +5.5. Holy smokes. That is.
Can I say something though? I didn't personally bet it. You guys had money on it, right? As well. Like I just had it in the pool here.
I took
You
it
had money on
6.5 when it was
Okay.
when it was that crazy.
Am I crazy when it happened that I didn't think it was that bad of a beat? Because when you're betting on Jameis, like that's kind of part of the bet.
It's like Will Levis. Like you're not allowed to get bad beated by Levis because it's
Right.
booked into betting on him.
I think that's a really good point, but I think it was just the timing of the 2 interceptions. Like really, like no, because part of the James Winston experience.
Oh, I forgot the goal line too. Like I'm thinking about what crossed the number was the second pick six.
Yeah.
But the one at the goal line when you think you're gonna backdoor something you deserve to front door. And
yeah, no, like that's my thing is, like totally with Winston. Like when Levis throws a pick six, you know you're dead. And it's like, okay, I knew this could have happened. He threw a pick six, we're done. Thing about Jameis is he can throw a pick six, you're still in it because he can march down the field 95 yards and just sling it around. So it's like, it's that part of it that you're still not out, even if Jameis were to throw like 5 pick sixes. You know, he the other side of him keeps you in it. So
yeah, I was actually having a.
Did you think you were covering Uppy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I was having a spirited debate with someone on Twitter how, if you back the Browns, you deserve this. Like, it's not a bad beat because that's baked into the number. But I will say, 2 pick sixes, one being in the red zone, so that's a 10-point swing right there, and then the other towards the end of the game, which actually puts the Broncos back in there. And then what happens? They get a fucking, pass interference in the end zone. They get all the way back down there. The fact that you're still right there with Jameis and then he does it again. So that is what makes it.
And a 93-yard touchdown. I mean, Browns obviously had the 70-yard to Judy, but 93 picture-perfect throw by Nix. That could easily fingernail gets on that, and that play never happens. I would agree. Browns was the right side. I would bet Browns again. But I just felt like if you're betting Jameis, you know that the backbreaking pick six as they're trailing, trying to win the game was totally in the cards. It's not like the safety at the end of the game because they're pitching and you lose by 6. Like that was always on the table. So
I just want to say one more thing. When he threw the first pick six, I was seeing the Twitter, oh my God, puke, bad beat. I'm like, no. We are still in this thing. Like we've actually, we couldn't be more in this because he just has to, and they also could have elected to get the 3 first, which would have covered. Because they were down 2 scores at that point, correct?
Would that have been your number or
I
all
would have
numbers?
pushed
No,
6.
That would have been just you, right?
6.5 would have hit. 6 would have pushed.
Right. Yeah, but the 5.5 would have lost.
Right, but still, like the guy's like still in it, and I'm like, good, go score. Let's go back again here. So yeah, it's a blast, really. I was not throwing. It's a bad beat, but it's not a punch the wall bad beat. I think it's
because it was too fun. It was too fun.
And that's
that's
the Jameis part. I think is like you can't flip out. It is a gross beat. But it's not a break the TV bet.
Yeah, no, that wasn't even like a top 10 for me. It didn't keep me up at night for sure.
Correct. Not even top 10 beat my life.
Tsitsipas did, but that's for another time. All right, let's start with our picks. Who is confident in their selection? Who brought data, information, good handicaps, airfare, analysis?
Pizza.
You? We're going back to you. Okay, all right, take it away.
So I'll be honest. The handicap for the Eagles game was obviously a joke. I don't want people to get confused with the Kyler not locked in Fat Boy NYC pizza thing. That was a real cap. The charter thing was obviously a joke. So I just want people who ride me endlessly pause. Whoa, Tim. People who ride me till they die, just know that I take that one on the chin. That was not a real handicap. But I'm coming back this week with a real handicap. And I'm going back to the spot that got me my last win, which was Seahawks versus Cardinals. I like getting the what? You don't like it? I like getting the 2.5 here. I like them outright, obviously, as well. I'm not a big numbers guy. 2.5, it's like win the game or don't win the game type of thing. But in a division game, I'll take the 2.5 points. What I found with the Cardinals is James Conner got off to a really hot start on the ground, and I think the Cardinals were playing some pretty good complementary football. And I think when they become one-dimensional, that's when Kyler struggles. He can't throw the ball over the middle of the field. Why is that bad?
I don't know. What are you basing that off of?
These are just Seahawks, all like just innocuous
over the
things.
last 3. Why are they innocuous?
Wait, but because you haven't stated that you think the Seahawks are going to stop the run.
Well, I'm not done. He started.
The handicap is these two teams
within the last.
The handicap is these two teams just played to a coin flip game. Now they're playing again. Coin flip game. You're getting points. You're taking it. Like
that's your handicap though. That's not.
All right, so finish. Let him
handicap.
finish. That's fair.
And he didn't let me finish.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks in the last 3 games are a top 10 team against the run. They've allowed 3 points in the last. They've allowed 3 points total in the last 2 games in the second half. They held Breece Hall. They held James Conner, who are 2 top 10, top 15 backs in the NFL.
Where's he going?
And I mean, you guys can't see what's going on the screen, but Tim is causing a ruckus, and now it's going to feel like I wasn't prepared in this handicap. But the Seahawks are on a 3-game winning streak, and no one's really talking about them. I think they're quietly turning into a really not a serious contender. I think the NFC contenders have become clear, but I think they can win a playoff game. And the Cardinals are on a 2-game losing skid, and I like the Seahawks in this spot to make them one-dimensional and get all over Kyler with the Mike McDonald defense.
I would like. All right, yeah, there he is. Tim, go ahead.
I mean, you can't see him. He looks like Casper the Ghost.
No, I think it's a solid handicap. Casey.
Yo, no one can see you. There you go. All right, go.
No, I think it's a solid handicap, Casey. Really.
Why is it not solid? Because it's not your logic. Just out of curiosity.
Because you have no idea what you're just listing things that you saw on TV that happened. Like, he doesn't throw the ball over the middle well. Like this defense, they've gotten better. Like nothing.
No, factually, they're 22nd against the run over the entire season, and they're top 10 over the past 3 games. They've improved their running defense. I've seen through going through the games as well as watching the games that they were at their best as most teams are. The Jets.
The Jets. I was with you the entire day. You
didn't
watch a single snap.
That's
of that
not
game.
what I fucking said.
You just said watching the game.
No,
yes,
that's not
you did.
what I said.
You just said watching the game.
I said no. I'm talking about I said through watching the games, I've seen that when they don't play complementary football, that is a season-wide thing. I did not watch the Jets-Cardinals game specifically. I wasn't talking about a
Which games
singular
are you
data
referring
point.
to that you watched?
Over the course of the season.
The whole NFL
I'm
or
saying
Cardinals games?
every
and Seahawks
team
games?
obviously is better when you're playing complementary football. A team like the Bengals, Joe Burrow, he doesn't really need that. Him just gunslinging the ball everywhere. They don't need to play. Like,
I'm just
teams,
asking you a question.
more
Who are you
importantly,
referring to?
what the fuck are you asking?
You said you're watching the games. What games?
I'm saying over the course of the season.
I understand you're saying over the course. What games? The whole NFL, the Cardinals games,
The
Seahawks
Cardinals.
games.
I'm saying.
You haven't watched any Cardinals games all season.
Okay.
Which ones have you watched?
All right. No.
Name
I'm
a
done.
game you watched.
That's my pick.
Name a game you watched.
I'm done.
X.
No,
X.
I don't
Give
mind.
me
I don't
Arizona.
mind the
By the
pick.
way, By the way,
Give
you
me
want to talk?
Arizona.
You want to talk about
Give me
the biggest fucking
Arizona.
hypocrite of all time? Have you ever seen a person come in with a more preconceived X in their entire life?
Never.
It literally would not have mattered
Never.
what I said it at all.
I didn't even like
I
Arizona.
could have picked your pick that you were going to come to the show with, and it would have gotten next.
I didn't.
All right, exit. I don't give
It
a
didn't
fuck.
even pop into my head until you gave the worst fucking handicap of all time. All you showed me was, they played 3 weeks ago and the Seahawks won, so I'm getting points now.
No, I didn't even say that. Tim's fucking dumbass said that
But
shit.
that's what you're doing.
What do you mean that's what I'm doing?
Because nothing has changed. You know why they've been top 10 in rushing defense of the last 3 games? Because they're winning fucking football games. And what happens when teams lose
Yes, they
football
turn
games?
into negative game series.
Exactly.
But they
So-
also are winning games by stopping the run. Both can be true. Yes, you have to stop running the ball consistently if you're down in games, but part of them winning games is the fact that they're stopping the run. They were 22nd against the run. You lose games.
Who should have won that game against Seattle?
No one can fucking understand you.
Who should
Oh
have won
my
that game?
god!
Who should have won that game?
What game?
You're telling
I
me
don't know what game you're asking.
Seattle, Arizona.
Seattle, because Kyler's not a good quarterback.
Right. And that is why I X'd it, because I remembered his implicit bias against Kyler Murray and towards Mike McDonald. Yes.
You've admitted that Kyler is not playing good football. You
He's-
said that yesterday.
He's not yet. All the
Oh,
underlying.
yeah. Okay. So let's just.
I didn't
Let's catch
say
the
that.
falling knife.
I'm saying yet as a caveat to that. Yet he is still ranking
okay.
out as the #1 quarterback in QBR. It's not a perfect stat. So
QBR. Tim,
what's wrong with fucking
QBR end all be all.
I just said it's not the end all be all. It doesn't
Whatever,
actually
take
fucking
your
matter.
fucking X. I don't
give
give
me
a
the
fuck.
Cardinals -2.5. I did like this pick to begin with.
I have the implicit bias, but this is the guy who has a Kyler Murray MVP
and
ticket.
it's
But I have
dead
the
as
implicit bias.
it's dead as fuck.
Right, my Tua bet was dead, but I still wanted to see him improve
I
and
don't
make it
get-
make a little bit of sense.
Kyler Murray's probably 1,000-1. That doesn't affect me. By the way, good bet, 401 Marlon Humphrey, Defensive Player of the Year. Anyways,
That's the worst fucking bet ever.
I don't need to
TJ
give.
Watt just got another strip sack.
No, he didn't. I don't need to give.
What do you mean? No, he
I
didn't.
don't
He
need-
literally did.
I don't need to give my handicap because that's the power of the X. And all I know is you're slumping, and it's great to ride someone
I'm
else's slump
slumping.
with a
I'm
fade.
1-1 in my last 2.
Perfect. All right. Who would like to go next?
So, I mean, so whose picks who now? Casey has.
I own Casey's.
No,
pick,
he has
and
2
we're
picks
going
now.
Cardinals.
Oh, so
minus.
I have
Casey,
0.
Casey's no picked.
I have no pick.
No picked.
That's big for me.
That is big for you.
You get
Unless you thought the Seahawks were going to lose.
No, because you can't get a win. It's about wins.
No, also getting a loss.
No, it's about getting wins.
They're both a half game. It's an equal opportunity.
No, because
Yes.
No, because if he then uses an X on you, then he can get a full game on you without you even having a pick.
That is completely separate. Him
No.
using his X to get the full game
You don't have
is
it-
the same as
No, it's not
Tim,
because
you taking
your
him,
guy's bet
he
is
could
who
take-
has more wins.
He can now only take a half game from me this week by him winning and me not losing. In a world where the Seahawks
it's
lost.
not, there's no playoff race here. It's who your guy's bet is who has more wins at the end.
No,
of the
it's
year.
who has a better record.
No,
Yes.
no.
I think it's better record, right, Tim?
This is
It's irrelevant.
This is a bad.
Tim, what did you want to say? What did you want to
This
say?
is getting to just be a hell of an episode. I mean, I actually don't mind the Seahawks pick. I was just giving you a hard time because you're talking about him throwing the ball over the middle, and I just don't know where that came from.
Well, no one let me finish. They have good interior pressure that Seattle does. You got Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. Like, no one fucking lets me ever finish a fucking statement.
I agree. I will say I think Casey is held to a higher standard. It's not really fair. He just kind of gets ganged up on from the
Thank you.
offset.
Thanks, Dad.
I just hate when
Appreciate
mom
that.
and dad fight. I
Uppy.
will say I think it's
Uppy,
unfair.
Uppy,
He's
Uppy,
getting
Uppy.
fucking bullied for giving
No, by the
Tim,
way,
should we turn around on
by the way,
Uppy?
I
Should we-
want it on the record that one, that's appreciated. Two, I am not looking to play the victim card here at all, and that's not what I'm saying. I just would like to at least finish something I'm going to say,
I said
and
you
then
could
you
finish.
can pour on me.
I said
No,
you
but
could
he's
finish.
like, oh, he said he can't throw over the middle. What the fuck does that mean? Well, I didn't get to talk about the fact that they get a lot of interior pressure.
Wait, what? How's that correlate with middle of the field?
He's going to struggle even more to throw the ball over the middle of the field.
Why?
All right, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
No, he was the one.
I don't
that-
give a fuck. I
he
literally
was
don't
the
give a
one that
fuck.
jumped
You
on
have my
him.
pick.
I
You're the
just
dumbest
didn't
motherfucker
like
I
it.
know. You have the worst record on the show, and you talk like you fucking know everything. You have the worst record by a landslide on the show.
I seriously.
By the way, sorry, but let's not forget that this is the motherfucker who tried to gaslight every single person on the show into thinking that the Jets were good. Every single one of us knew that they were fucking atrocious. Meanwhile, we had to sit there in Austin for 15 minutes and let him chew us out about why we are stupid for not believing that the Jets are good. The Jets are everything we thought they were, and even worse, but yeah. Go, Tim.
I don't know how that's relevant.
And the
It's relevant that you're dumb as fuck.
and the Steelers have been the 07 Patriots since. So that was about the.
What?
That applies to both of us because this is the guy who told Uppy to suck him and with the Tomlin dogs, and yet he was proven wrong.
And I came on the show and I apologized to him right away that I was wrong.
Look,
Yeah. And you will be getting your Colts bet for the Jets, Uppy, tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Look, I was a little bit floored by, for the first time in 3 weeks, you mentioned something that wasn't pizza or a jet, it's like a jet airliner. So I was just like, it was just weird to hear. It was weird to hear a woman talking about routes. It was
fair.
it was weird to hear that. So
Yeah,
I
it's fine. I mean, I don't even have the pick anymore, so I don't need to fight for it.
Yeah.
But
So then shut up. All right.
unfortunately, now I'm gonna have
Who's
to put more money on it than I wanted to prove my
Wait,
point.
you're gonna
even
bet
more.
it straight?
I might even fucking no. I'm gonna bet it money line straight.
All right, my pick is Chargers plus 4.5 points. They were playing
It's only
in
3.5.
Kansas City. It was 4.5 in the thing, was it not?
think it was 4.5.
Yeah. Yes.
But you're taking the points don't matter, right, guys?
Wait, I'm taking 4.5.
Yeah, no, but we don't know what's going to be in our contest.
Okay. Yes, my pick as we know it is 4.5. So that's what I'm going to present. Chiefs 0-6 against the spread over the last 6. You're still going to get in my opinion, an inflated line, given the fact that it's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying people are going to be 90% on the Chiefs like they were probably 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. But what this line should truly be, I think Chargers plus 3 for me. That's how I would make it. I mean, I had the Raiders money line. Like, there's all these losing bets if you fade them to win outright, but they can't cover a game. They're not explosive on offense. The defense is actually the really sneaky part, and it's that it hasn't been good over the last, 6-7 weeks. That's what made that team different last year's. They found a lot of young players who filled in slots, and they were awesome. You've also got major tackle issues. They went to the second string guy. He played like 3 or 4 snaps at the end of the game. If you're benching your starting left tackle with 2 minutes left in a football game, you're in fucking hell. And this isn't even the guy that was, going up against Max Crosby. So give me 4.5 in a divisional matchup. Thought the Chargers should have won the first game when it was back in LA. I'm gonna just keep fading the Chiefs, and Mahomes as a favorite over 3 points. We know he's the worst all time.
So here's my worry.
Sure.
I think this is a brutal spot for the Chargers.
Cross country. Yep. Come back. Short week the week before.
It's
Kansas
only
City,
half the country.
Yeah. Uppy probably
No,
thinks they're playing in Yugoslavia.
Not
Uh, but- uh, necessarily.
necessarily about travel, just kind of like in the.
Yeah.
I mean, so that they go Monday night Ravens,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Big get up type game.
Yeah.
They go have kind of a stinker in Atlanta, and they still win with that, which I think hurts them. Like it's a fake result. It's
Agreed.
a fake.
Agreed.
We're still we're on the level that we think we are, and now you get Kansas City, who has been given a fright a lot recently, and they just for these game like these are kind of Kansas City like, oh yeah, shit, they're still kind of Kansas City games, like whether the advanced numbers say it or not, like. And the Chargers with their running back situation, like
That's the
I
only
just
point that I agree with you on. I hear you on the spot, and like, yes, there are plenty of times where it's like, oh shit, like, yeah, they have Patrick Mahomes. Like, maybe this should have been 6 points, and if they lost in Atlanta, maybe it was 6 points. But I don't think they are that team. Like, that is my wholehearted belief, and that's why I think they're 0-6 against the spread, because Vegas keeps giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because if you actually made this number 3, like it's getting bet, through the roof with Kansas City just based off of the Mahomes effect. I don't think that team. My big worry is what you just mentioned at the end. No Dobbins. Gus Edwards he's a slog. And the Chiefs already have one of the top rush defenses in the NFL.
Also,
that is a bad script to play with the Greg Roman offense in Kansas City. So I hear you there. I think that they're good enough. And also 4.5 points, divisional matchup in a game that might last 2 hours with how quick, like it's just going to be handoff, good defense, handoff, keep everything underneath. 4.5 feels like a lot of points in a game of this magnitude. Yes, they got a fake result. I don't see it as a letdown spot because, believe it or not, Chargers are 1 win away from making this division really, really interesting. Their schedule is really interesting. So they would be a game and a half back, I believe. If there'd be 2 full games back.
yeah.
I think Kansas City has to play at Denver. Like, I don't think this – I agree with you. If they were playing the Raiders at home or they were playing, Seattle at home and it wasn't this game, I hear you, but I think they get up.
Ladd's also banged up and questionable for this game. And if you've no JK, no Ladd, I think like the turning point of people –
Casey, that's a point to bring up. That's well done.
Why are you the fucking dictator of what's a good point and what's not a good point? What is your fucking record? Why are you the point fucking Nazi?
Because I still come here with good information despite winning and losing.
Yeah. It's 13 games, Sampo.
Ladd, anyways.
And this is when I start to get real hot, by the way.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. The sentiment with the Chargers was they were playing really good defense at the start of the season, and the offense was just like kind of being complimentary, running the football. And then everyone got really hot on the Chargers because Herbert started cooking, and the offense looked like they were really coming into itself. And no JK and no Ladd, which are the 2 most integral pieces of the offense that made that offense.
The Ladd's going to play.
Do you know that?
Do you know that he's not? You're talking about as if he's not.
I'm just saying I would be a little scared if the 2 most important pieces of their offense were not playing.
Sure. I agree with that.
And even if he's banged up, like, look, they have nowhere else to throw the rock.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I agree. My only caveat, Brock Bowers is fucking fantastic, but Jacoby Myers and what was the little dude's
Jacoby
name?
Myers is
I think Jacoby Myers would be the Chargers'
Jacoby
best
Myers
receiver.
is way better than anyone on. Like Jacoby Myers.
But like Aiden O'Connell just fucking killed them. They missed 3 field goals.
Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers is a pretty good tight end wide receiver combo.
It's better than Will. It would rank 26.
It's way better than Will Dissly and Quentin Johnson.
Sure.
With Gus Edwards.
Sure.
Right.
But
I'm just
once
saying,
again, you guys have just put Ladd McConkey on IR when he's practicing.
We didn't put.
You don't know if he's practicing. See, you don't know if he's practice doesn't even come out.
We don't like. The point is, it's a good point in that, like, you still have to play. And look at everyone on their phones. They're just.
I'm looking Ladd. I'm looking
Ladd
Ladd.
McConkey had practice 8 minutes ago. Come on your knees and suck me dry right now. Come on. Come here.
He was
no.
Look at them start the run.
He's practicing. You don't know he's practicing.
You didn't know
8 minutes ago. Verified source. It's 14 minutes ago.
not
United
verified.
Health.
Not
Shot dead.
Not
All right,
verified source.
Let's go.
Not a
on to the
verifi-
next.
not a
unless
verified
anyone's
source.
Xing me, unless it's a fucking video of him practicing. That's a verified source because I can see with my own.
He's 8,000 followers. Uppy has 8,000 followers.
If anyone wants to X, take it. I hear you, Tim. I get the travel. I get the spot. I'm not disregarding that. I understand if McConkey's out. I do not like it as much. I think it's a concern with Dobbins. A lot of this, I think, is baked into the line. And what I'm saying isn't baked in is the the Chiefs bit is fucking up. I see it. Everyone sees it. And people are still betting them. They're going to lose the Chiefs will win by 6. I don't give a fuck. I like the 4.5.
Seahawks is no longer a straight play. It's a Seahawks Chiefs parlay, unfortunately.
Andy Reid on extended rest.
He's just smiling.
No, I'm with you. I'm betting the Chiefs now.
No,
This is why I love
you know
this
what?
show.
No, I agree. There's a really good chance.
Look, I'm
that
not trying to talk
it's
you
gone
off of
too
it.
far.
We have the
No,
conversation because it's
yeah,
one of the most popular
yeah.
games of the week. Fuck God. Chill.
Give me
Chill.
Harbaugh. Give me Harbaugh after playing in Atlanta.
I am interested in the fact that a Chiefs team that is this good, look again, they're not as good as relative
No. They're not good. They're like middle of the pack NFL football team. They are.
Okay, so a Chiefs team that is average, that gets a lot of public love, inflated lines, all those sort of things. I don't quite think the line's inflated, and I think the Chargers are a bit of a trendy dog here, and they're overlooking the situation that the Chargers are in.
I agree. This is trend. Everyone's gonna like the Chargers here.
Trendy
it's
dog.
the wrong spot. I agree.
Yeah, square dog of the week. If
Yeah.
I looked at the board and saw this instantly, then you know it's fucking cooked. You don't.
All right, love
you don't
it.
want this.
All right. What's your record
good luck.
this year, Uppy?
10-4.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's really good.
I'm still a square.
You're cute
I bet.
on that.
I mean, so here's a great case study. Uppy's really good on the show. Uppy, what have you been week by week?
Uppy doesn't win any fucking money. But in my defense, a lot of drunk UFC, a lot of late night tennis.
Right.
I'm just talking
soccer, I don't
NFL.
know
Uppy,
anything.
we're in the same boat of it's
Yeah.
like
Parlays. I mean,
Just
but I'm
be-
doing dumb shit.
just
in the
because
NFL.
we're not winning money does not mean we don't have the capability
Agree.
to do
I
so.
actually
You're
agree.
right. You're right.
I
I am actually the best NFL bettor in the history of Snapback Bets.
Correct.
If I had the discipline to only bet one game a week, I'd be the best NFL bettor in the entire world.
Agreed. I'm aligned with everything you just said.
I hear you. I actually, the craziest part is I don't think Tim can even understand the difference between the two. Do you understand what
No,
we're
he
talking?
gets it.
Like-
he gets it because when
Right, he
Uppy
sprays
responded to the bet about the most receiving yards or whatever it was, he's like, it's just called having fun. Like he'll live a little every
Okay.
now and again.
All right. But not on Sundays. Tim doesn't live on Sundays. He
All right,
lives
Tim,
on
give us your pick.
Saturdays.
I don't want to give a pick. I don't want to give a pick.
You have to. Wait, everyone's already too fired up. You have to.
I'm gonna choose the wrong game,
Yes.
and
This is my favorite segment on the show. I have two. One of them's going to be right. One of them's going to be wrong. And no matter which one I choose, the one I give on the show is wrong. That's my favorite segment.
Last week both hit. It was gonna be Chargers or Cardinals.
Well, you are red hot, especially on
Chargers. Did that?
Damn.
Did that? But that is betting the Falcons as dogs at home. Like I've done it for years. They're always the right side, and they're never the right result. So I guess that's part of the that's part of the math.
And with that said, that exact team, give me Atlanta getting 5.5 at Minnesota.
They're getting 5.5.
Yeah,
Seems like a
Oh,
lot.
That's
your
ridiculous.
thing, the contest lines you sent out were 4.5. This thing's 5.5. Juice to Minnesota. We could even get 6.
What's the cap?
This Minnesota team is one of the luckiest teams in the NFL. They get out. They are the get out of trap doors of all out of trap doors. Sam Darnold desperately wants to turn the ball over. I think we have an opportunity here of two false box scores up against each other. The Minnesota Vikings against the Cardinals box score, and the Atlanta Falcons against the Chargers box score. Difference in the game for the Falcons Chargers game is that Cousins throws 4 interceptions. Difference in the game in the Chargers Cardinals game is that the Cardinals go 1 for 4 in the red zone. I think there's 2 misleading results. I think this line's inflated to Minnesota. I think Minnesota's damn good, but I'm going to take the points here in an Atlanta team that a lot of people just backed against the Chargers that want no part of going back to this well. I will gladly go to that well.
I like the Atlanta pick. I just need you to tell me that you have counted this in or we need to adjust. Justin Jefferson is scoring in this game. So as long as you understand that as fact and you still think we can cover, I'm all aboard.
I think we're totally okay in a situation like
All
that.
right, just
Right.
making sure.
I don't think he handicapped it being 6-3. So I think we can afford to give him a touchdown.
No, I'm just making sure that there's one
right.
lock touchdown baked in.
I'm surprised the number's that high. I guess because I don't watch as much ball as Casey, and I've had the Minnesota Vikings in my cuties category all year long, because Darnold leads the NFL in turnover-worthy throws. Flores' defense, it's so high variance. You talk about them being lucky. So the side I like about this is, instead of betting, like how I was saying, when you're fading the Chiefs, you don't really want to bet against them to win because they still find a way to win, but they're not covering numbers. Similar to Minnesota, I wouldn't necessarily hope for them to lose the game, because the way they blitz, the way Kirk can't move, like they keep O'Connell. Remember, he did this 2 years ago as well, where they lucked into 1 million wins also. So the fact that you're getting 6 points makes me comfortable. But does the fact that a Flores high pressure off defense against Kirk inability to move, does that concern you at all?
100%. And it's why I'm torn between this and a couple others. The Kirk is horrendous against. There's a great EA stat if you guys want to hear this. Cousins has faced blitz. He's facing the blitz heavy Vikings this week. When Cousins gets sacked 3+ times, Atlanta is 1-3 straight up this year, losing 3 straight. Kirk is 1-5 when getting sacked 3+ times over the last 2 seasons. Not good.
Ball out fast. There's got to be some winning prop with him getting the ball out of his hands and having a counter for it. But yeah, it makes me nervous. But like I was saying, you get the 6. They don't have to win the game, and that gives me comfort in knowing. I got nervous though. Like, Tim, are the Vikings? You said they're a good ball club. Are they actually good, or are they getting lucky?
Their defense has been really, really good. They're number 1 in DVOA for defense, but and Darnold had a lot of great success early. He's not a guy that I root for Darnold, but he's a guy that you're just like, oh God, this guy's he's waiting for a Kirk Cousins game of 4 interceptions.
Right.
And look, whether it's catching the falling knife, whatever it may be, I think the perception of what Atlanta showed against the Chargers and going back to them is, especially late in the season, is something that excites me here. The look ahead for this game was 5.5. It's 5.5 trending towards 6 right now. And I just think a lot of people are afraid to get on this Atlanta team. And I think there's some regression, has to be a little bit for this Vikings team. Another EA, Vikings success in 1-score games. They are 24-9 straight up in 1-score games under O'Connell. And that would be the 3rd best winning percentage of any head coach in NFL history.
In coin flip implied games, yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to mention Kirk Cousins' revenge game in his comfortable noon window.
Kirk Cousins also has been bad indoors last couple of years, which is so weird.
Yeah, but
I think there's a real chance that we might see Penix if it gets ugly, and that would be my concern.
You
like
think so?
The variance there. I mean, it should have happened probably last week. I'm sure it's been discussed since that game.
I don't know.
You're too close to the division. I don't think that he would have to get hurt. And like you said, you're concerned. Well, if Penix is coming in the game, they're probably down 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's It's not a great matchup, but I do think that the number reflects that. And, this is an Atlanta team like week one, remember against Philly, they were getting 5.5 at Philly. They get that comeback. They got 5.5, 6 at Kansas City. Like this is like been a common Atlanta number, and this is a kind of a spot that they can hang around.
Yeah. All right, Uppy.
I agree. I like it. I'm going to be taking the Bears +4 at the San Francisco 49ers. This is the classic interim head coach spot. Since 2003, teams are 23-17 ATS the week following firing their coach. And this is a Bears team that has just been playing significantly better, especially on offense since Thomas Brown took over the offense in his short stint as a coordinator. Now he is the head coach. In 3 games under Brown, Caleb Williams had a passer rating of 99.2, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. In 9 games with Waldron, he had a passer rating of 81, 9 touchdowns, and 5 picks. This is also a Niners team that's just absolutely reeling. They haven't covered in 4 straight. The defense is bad, banged up. They rank 26 in EPA per play since week 10. And also on the injury front, one big concern Trent Williams, it looks like he's not going to be able to go again this week. I know the injury reports aren't out, but Shanahan in a press conference said his health hasn't been trending in the right direction. That's a massive concern. I will say the Bears defense leaves a lot to be desired. They're 10th against the pass, but 30th against the rush. Although that's not nearly as concerning against a Niners team that just lost, their 2 best backs. McCaffrey, arguably the best in the NFL. Now both are on IR, so they're going to Casey probably knows it. Garundo or some shit. Yeah, so they're going to him. Not a great option. So that lack of run defense isn't quite as concerning.
Yeah, for me, I don't hate it. I think similar to the misleading box scores that Tim was touching on for the Vikings and Falcons. I think, especially in the first half, I think the Bills Niners game was a lot closer than it. Like they had, I think, either outgained them or were within 20 yards of the Bills in the first half, and that pretty much all came on the ground. Granted, it was a snow game, and both teams had a ton of success on the ground. I think due to the snow and no one being able to get their footing, but it just does concern me that Niners, this game is essentially back against the wall. They're done if they don't win. And after having one of their best running performances and then turning the ball over in the red zone a couple times against the Bills.
Well, they've been miserable in the red zone all year.
Yeah, I
don't think there's regression. I think that's a big thing that gets overlooked.
My thing is I don't know if Christian McCaffrey is obviously an addition, but we saw the success that Jordan Mason had in that Niners scheme in that run game. Like, I just don't know how much fitting Isaac Guerrero into that scheme is that big of a difference to at least Jordan Mason. Obviously Christian McCaffrey, but
so you're right. It's not that big of a difference. Shanahan can make any running back just fine. Here's the thing. And I heard a good point about Shanahan this week from Mike Lombardi. He gets bored taking death by 1,000 cuts. He gets bored. And that's what happened in that Buffalo game. Like if they had just kept at, 5 yards to Kittle, 3 yards on the ground, he gets bored. Mm-hmm. That's the type of he's great play caller, great designer, but his game flow and basically what kind of the Lions actually happened on Thanksgiving, they just got bored with what they were doing. I think they're deader than dead. Like you come into the season with Super Bowl aspirations. This has been nothing short of a just disaster. Purdy still doesn't look right. And my only concern up because I grabbed Chicago +5.5 is that the number is just gone. That now you're getting just the lowest of what everybody knows. However, Chicago's a team where they get to totally blame the head coach. And he's like, I think if we broke down like the new coach bounce hasn't been like as automatic as people think. But I think if we break down a situation like this, they totally get to make Eberflus the whipping boy here, and still can believe that there's something to be, there's something still here. Again, this was a team that didn't come into the season with aspirations to win the Super Bowl. San Francisco did. McCaffrey being done, I think it embodies where this team is at.
That's why it was funny when we had this discussion last week, pre-Thanksgiving. You guys were curious about motivation for Chicago. They came out, got their bell rung, and then they still fight back. And that's what I was saying. Like the Lions laying that many points, it just feels like a lot for a team that they're just trying to improve week over week. And it feels now, outside of maybe DJ Moore, that, all that garbage went with the old coach. They just put it on him, and they're locked in, and they just want to play good football.
And they didn't quit versus Minnesota either before that.
They just don't give up.
I think Kyler's
like bad though.
Excuse me, Caleb. I think Caleb though is one of those guys where a lot is made about his personality and his character. I think actually bodes well because he's just like, I'm just gonna go play quarterback.
Yeah,
it's not. He doesn't see like he just like, all right, next series, like I'm gonna run around and do something, which I think is like kind of I think a positive for like where we're trying to bet him right now is like it kind of goes to the not quitting thing.
I don't love it. Maybe it's because what Tim said, like 5.5 or even 6, it would be too much. I do think the adjustment probably, I haven't tracked it as closely, but if it moved from 5.5 to 4 on Trent Williams news, I know it's a lot for one player, especially not a quarterback.
No, it was just money. Yeah. It was early line shaping money.
Yeah,
just
because the look ahead was 6.5.
That they're just like so dead, but they're also alive in the division.
That's
still.
The problem is I feel like they're alive. They're not dead, and they almost control their own destiny. They don't get a chance at Seattle, but say the Cardinals win, they play the Rams and the Cardinals still.
No, they obviously control.
I understand the difference between like actually dead and just the vibe being there. And
dead. Most teams always believe they're alive, even when they have half a percent.
Yeah, and I think,
but I think that this has just been so.
No, this is what I said last week. I said I don't think people understand, and then you guys got on me for reading the injured reserve report, but like it's less so about them being dead or alive, and it's actually like, yes, they were Super Bowl contenders coming in. This roster is not a Super Bowl contender. Could they get guys back? Maybe. I don't know all their statuses, but like we're now into the depths of their team at every position.
Yeah, they're running out of bodies.
Right. No, I heard someone call this roster it's stars and scrubs. Yeah. And when the stars are out, or in the case of like someone like Debo not performing, it's scrubs.
It's scrubs. Yeah, it really is. Right. I mean, even Fred Warner, he left, came back. They announced he's playing with the shattered ankle. It's just there's something so weird about this to me that like I do think, and you've got extended rest for Chicago. They flew to Buffalo. They got to fly back. Obviously, Chicago's got to go out west. It feels like this could be like, oh, maybe the Bears are 4-8 for a reason, and Caleb hasn't played well all season. They just kind of lose this game by a touchdown or so. I don't know, but I get the pick.
Your hang up is probably that it's a rookie quarterback on the road against a very established franchise, and when Williams throws 3 interceptions, 1 pick 6, and they lose by 10, then you'll be like, yeah.
All right.
So I think one of the discrepancies is for a team like the Jets, we're like, oh, they're dead. For some reason, we kept still getting value in their line. Right. Like they're, but now the Niners with this line are being power rated like who they are. The question is just, is it even worse?
Right. All right.
Like,
Where are we going, Consensi? What was your other pick you liked, Tim?
Cleveland.
I like it. Everyone thinks the Steelers' offense is real. It's not too many points in a divisional game.
I don't like it. Not that I like the Pittsburgh side, but it's just after betting, I think we should talk about Cincy, Pittsburgh. The handicap was Cincy's going to be able to score. They'll have success. Burrow's just been lights out all year. and I thought the Steelers' offense had been figured out to a degree. I think this Cleveland defense might be not as bad as Cincy, because I think the four of us could probably put together a couple drives against Cincy. But this Cleveland, I mean, Knicks and Denver just lit them up. They've been lit up recently.
Yeah, the idea was that Pittsburgh couldn't win in a shootout against
Right.
Cincy, and we saw that is not quite the case. Russ has been the best deep ball thrower in the entire NFL, and we just saw Knicks absolutely torch them. You could see
What about-
something probably.
It's also,
similar.
hold on, because I think Tim wants to talk more about it. I'm interested in what he's got to say.
So the best, like the absolute best trend about this game, it is truly outstanding. And if I just blindly heard this, I think I would have bet it without already liking Cleveland. So this is going to be Pittsburgh's third straight divisional game, and so facing three straight divisional opponents can take a lot out of teams, especially good ones. Last 30 years, teams with a winning percentage of 66% or better, but they are 49% against the spread or worse. Essentially, their third game in a row in the division, 36-44 ATS. So the point is just when a good team has to get up again and again and again, the third time, it's really difficult. I think, like, talk about things in the NFL that do not change. Like, that is something.
No, that makes sense. And then you get Tomlin laying a touchdown. Like,
and not even with all the Tomlin
Yeah.
favorites.
No, I don't hate it. That's what I mean. Like, I definitely wouldn't go and bet Pittsburgh. I just don't know if we fully know what Pittsburgh is, plus disruptive defense against Jameis. Like, I'm nervous that it's going to be same as last week, where I agree Cleveland's the right side. But
Right.
What is the number that we put on Jameis playing against a team that forces turnovers? Like,
Well, they just played, and it was fine.
And we were all over Cleveland because that was such a good spot. And I guess it is another good spot. So wait, isn't this the fourth division game in a row? Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy. This is their fourth divisional game in a row.
They went Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy.
Going into Baltimore, they had not played a divisional game. Their last 6 games were the division. Sorry, the last 8 were the division. So 2-2-2 and Kansas City and Philly.
this is their
There's
fourth.
gonna be a game
And they
where
covered
Pittsburgh
the
is just
third
gonna
one.
be thrashed.
They covered the third one, so that kind of goes against Tim's stats. But what about the fourth one in a row?
The fourth one.
Oh my Lord! I don't have. I could do it, but it'd take me too long. But that's a good.
Yeah.
Whew, I mean,
Right. This does feel like you don't get up for it. Maybe they squeak out a win or they win by, a field goal or two, but like there's no way they're coming out guns blazing, trying to prove a point and cover a big number here. They're just trying to survive and advance at this point.
But the Jameis experience against a team that historically scores defensive touchdowns, turns the ball over, and
the back door is always open though at this motherfucker.
It is.
Absolutely.
And he prayed to the
Pick six gods, yeah.
God.
That's true. If you think about that, God's plan, then I do.
Actually, good point. What are quarterbacks off of the pick six prayer? Do we have those numbers? That's
what about
we really
I could be talked into it. Leave me as like a maybe unless we can find something else.
If it's 7,
I strongly lean Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm
about
with
Detroit?
You. I don't.
Detroit against. No.
I did bet it.
The only thing I didn't like about Detroit was I saw a report, like, apparently the Lions are in a really bad spot right now, injury-wise.
Yes, they're super banged up, but so is Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think this is cannot
it's
go
just
near
weird. Okay. Saints laying 5 at the Giants. I think they're going to Drew Lock. I would never.
They were at Drew Lock.
Huh?
They already did Drew Lock.
No, but that was because DeVito was hurt. But then they decided they're going to stick with Drew Lock. But Drew Lock stinks. But
I think he's better than he's an upgrade over DeVito.
But I wouldn't lay 5 with Derek Carr if my life actually, like, if you said you have to lay almost a touchdown with Derek Carr on the road, or jump off a bridge, I would rather jump.
So a couple others for me.
Jags. You like
Uh,
Jags, right?
Yeah, 3.5's tougher.
What
3.5's
did you have
tougher.
it at?
I have it at 2.5. Like my number, or what I got it at 4.5, but I make the number 2.5.
Okay. What do my hometown? It's 77 degrees on Sunday. Tua's laying under a touchdown.
I love it. I almost took
Fun.
this.
What's the trick?
Yeah, I
What's
actually
the
like the
trick
Dolphins
here?
a good
Because
bit.
this team is they're a corpse.
No, there's no trick. There's no trick. Like, I should have just made this my fucking best bet.
All right, let's do the fucking
The
Dolphins.
fins up.
Like, fuck, I should have made this my best bet. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This line.
What do you make it? What should it be?
This line should be. The shot line should be 8.75.
He's playing the Asian handicap.
Well, no, it's 8.5 juice to. It's 8.5 minus 150.
All right, perfect.
Do you want it as your pick?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
No.
I
Yeah,
do.
he's allowed to do that.
Then we got to come up with a whole new consensus.
Well, what's his What was your first pick?
Atlanta.
Yeah, we liked Atlanta.
I like Miami better as the consensus and his as Atlanta.
I'm making Miami my best bet.
He's
Miami at
entitled
home.
to do that. He's entitled to. All right, so then we need to decide: do we like the Browns or do we like Atlanta better?
Atlanta for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with Atlanta.
Okay. All right, we'll
Oh boy.
go with that.
Consent.
Good work.
Consent.
Now Tim is
I
on the
kind of
hook
lean
for
Brown.
two.
I
We
kind of
can
lean
hit
Browns
on
if we're going consensus for me.
All right, we're going Atlanta.
All right, Tim, you're on the hook for 2. Only 1 will count for your record. Those are our 5 picks.
This is gonna go down, and it's gonna be like.
Oh, obviously, it's going the opposite.
Group underdog play starting with Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown scorer. He has not scored in, I believe, 8 straight games, and that finally comes to an end against Atlanta.
Okay, my pick is Brock Bowers, lower, 71.5 receiving yards, coming off a tough L to the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. It's playing better ball. Levante David patrolling the middle of the field against the star rookie tight end. I'm fading a superstar here.
All right, I am going Russell Wilson higher, 234.5 passing yards. He is the number 1 quarterback in PFF in passes over 15 plus yards. This is a Cleveland secondary that just got absolutely cooked. It's going to happen again.
And I am going Tyrone Tracy higher than 59.5 rushing yards. This New Orleans defense cannot stop the rush to save their lives. Tracy higher and a touchdown.
Ooh, bonus pick. Okay. If you guys want to tail that, head to Underdog. Use the code Snapback. You also get a free line to pair with our 4 picks. Turn $5 into $100. I think we got some winners this week.